watch this Tekken 4 video. Tekken 4 been on my mind.
Iron Fist Tournament 3.
I'm not having this
Heihachi
conversation,
Mishima,
bro.
angry at his inability in the previous game, conducts a raid on G-Corp to capture the corpse of Kazuya Mishima, in the hopes that he can finally acquire the power of Ogre himself, through fusing it with the Devil
I'm done.
Gene.
Like,
I'm
done talking about Sasuke. I ain't gonna lie.
Mid-mission, it occurs that Kazuya Mishima was revived by G-Corp. He fights his way out of the onslaught, showing off the new direction of the game's combat. At the end of the fight, one soldier remains stunned, and Kazuya, aware he's being recorded, stares down at the camera, assuming Heihachi is watching. He declares his own fury at everything he's lost. He announces that he'll take everything back.
Oh my god.
Heihachi isn't amused. He announces the King of Iron Fist
One of the hardest video game intros I've ever seen.
Tournament 4 is his way of having a
Kazuya uses a gun? Not necessarily. I mean, he just took the gun from the motherfucker and shot him. That was a one-time thing.
family get-together, as always, ready to do whatever it takes to fulfill the hatred inside of him. Jin Kazuma, assumedly having picked Heihachi's 50 AE out of his skull, vows his own revenge, driven by the anger of betrayal, unlearning the Mishimaryu fighting style and respecing into traditional karate from the ancient practitioners in Brisbane, Australia. Under the tagline, A New Century of Fighting, Tekken 4 was part of a myriad of games reinventing themselves for a new generation of hardware at the turn of the millennia, particularly at Namco. The core combat mechanics established in Tekken 3 remain, but controversially, the team completely replaced the infinite fighting planes of the PlayStation 1 Tekkens with fully mapped 3D environments, complete with player-on-player wall splat physics and certain destructible collision. There are complementary changes to some of the core mechanics as well.
Damn. The maps were like really interesting in this game, I'm not gonna lie. Niggas was fighting in a mall, niggas was fighting outside on the street, like a Street Fighter. Like, the maps made perfect sense for a fighting game. It just made perfect sense at the time. Yeah, like, it made perfect sense. Like, the stage designs and shit, it made perfect sense. Niggas fighting in a fucking mall, bro. And fighting in a mall is crazy, but like, it was like, it just made sense. It's like they're literally fighting on the street. They brawling on the street. Niggas fighting on the rooftop. They fighting at the airport. Like, interesting stages. Very interesting. Like, were golden days, I feel it.
To have Tekken's gameplay better take advantage of these environments. Select moves will splat enemies against walls on hit or counter hit to spare damage, and the splat allows for free damage as they tumble. It's a kind of wall juggle. The generic left-hand grab command now leads to
that parking garage stage was insane. I'm gonna say it right now. Niggas fought in a parking garage, bro. I'm telling you, the stages just were crazy, but it made sense. Cause it's like, you wanna fight a nigga, bro? You wanna box a nigga? Like, let's say you see a nigga you wanna fight. It could be anywhere. Like, if you wanna fight in the mall, y'all gonna fight in the mall. Y'all ain't gotta worry about security or nothing like that, cause you just gonna whoop the security ass. Just imagine, bro. You just be like, I wanna fight that nigga. I wanna fight that nigga right there. Come here, nigga. It's on site. Like, dog. That's what the energy. That's what the stages are giving. Like, it's just on site. Like, nigga, I see you. I'm about to box you. Nigga about to take a flight to Hawaii or some shit. Nigga at the airport about to board the plane. Nigga see somebody, he like, hold on. Is that who I think it is? Is that Steve? Hey Steve, get your ass over here, nigga. Let's box. Come on. I've been waiting for that shit, nigga. I've been waiting for that fade, nigga. Like, what's up? Like, oh, nigga, what's up? What's up? Nigga start fighting. Nigga missed his flight. You nigga said, fuck that flight, nigga. What's up? Like, bruh, I'm telling you, bro, that's what it's giving. Like, niggas fought on site. Like, niggas at the beach just enjoying their time. They trying to relax. Hey, nigga, I know you. Ain't you Eddie? What's up, nigga? What's up? Was like, bro, nigga at the beach trying to chill. Like, oh my god, here come this nigga. Like, bro.
to a generic position-altering grab, in which you risk trading places, shoving your enemy for better positioning, or against a wall for minor damage, frame advantage, and maybe setting up a decent wall combo. There's not only a game element to it, but it looks very cinematic to take advantage of your environment like that as well. With this grand change, they once again lean into
the crazy thing is too that people are so used to other Tekken's the other Tekken's gameplay, like Tekken 5 and other Tekkens, They try to play Tekken 4 the exact same way and it doesn't work, and then they end up hating Tekken 4. I realize that. They try to play Tekken 4 the exact same way as if it's like Tekken 5 or something, but it's not. And then they end up disappointed. It's like, bro, that's not how you play the game, bro. Niggas trying to do fucking combo strings and shit. Like, that's not happening, buddy. That's not how the game is built. If you're trying to do something that, against how the game is, like, fundamentally supposed to be, you're cooked. Of course you're not. Of course you're gonna hate the game because you're not playing it right. Like, because Tekken 4 is different, bro. Like, it's a different game, and I like the direction they went. I'm not saying it's the best direction they went in terms of gameplay, but nigga, you can't just sit there and act like it's the same shit as Tekken 5 or something. It's different. You got to play it how it was meant to be played. As simple as that. Well, Tekken is all about follow-ups as far as PS2 was concerned. Yeah, they leveled up each game. Well, not leveled up, but they try to come with something new to the gameplay each game. So like Tekken 4 was so different from Tekken 3. And just the previous Tekkens in general. It was a whole big ass shift. A shift in a whole new direction. And like people were just trying to shit on Tekken 4 because it wasn't as refined as something like Tekken 5. There's always a comparison, but it's like that's what I'm saying. Tekken 4 is different. You have to play it the way it was meant to be played. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucking Paul, yep, I know that. Nigga, One Punch Man.
To Tekken's largest unique selling point, which is movement, building on the simple sidestep implementation of the previous game, emphasizing position and situational awareness. And to the casual player, this novelty was...
Yeah, you needed situational awareness in that, because there were literally obstacles and shit that was in the way. Pillars and all that, you had to have situational awareness, and you had to position yourself to take advantage of the area, whatever area you were in the map. You have to take advantage of that situation. Like, oh, it's a pillar right there. Let me get a wall splat. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let me move out the way real quick so I don't get cornered into this goddamn pillar. Like, you had to take advantage of the area you were in the stage. The stages were very unique. You can't compare old Tekken with his newer ones at all because old games are way too technical. I feel it. I agree. Old fighting games in general are definitely way harder than today's. And it's like, and you didn't really have much of the game holding your hand. You really had to figure the shit out on your own. And it's like, damn. So I understand if people try to play Tekken 4 the same way as Tekken 5 or something, because that's all they know. That's what they're used to. They're used to playing Tekken like it's Tekken 5 or Tekken 7 or whatever. But then they realize, oh, it's not. This game is not like that. Yeah, facts. Like you really didn't have much resources to go off of to learn the fucking game. You really had to play and play the motherfucker yourself and experiment. YouTube did not exist. Like you really had to figure that shit out on your own. I commend, hey, respect to the people who actually learned this game, because god damn, they had nothing to go off of. I'll tell you that much. They had a move list and that's it. They just had a move list and had to learn from there. And that move list is, you know, how that move list be. Goddamn, hundreds of moves in that hole. Had to figure out which one is optimal. Like that shit is crazy. Oh god, like props to the high level players who played this shit, because damn, you nobody held your hand. Yeah, like it was different, bro. Like you really had to learn from scratch. Like that shit was crazy.
incredible. Probably still would be if you haven't experienced it. It's always something that takes you back and makes the stages ascend simply being fighting arenas, and begins to make them feel like actual lived-in places. They've become divorced from
As I'm saying, the stages were so realistic. It just felt right. Nigga, I'm fighting this nigga at the mall. Bet. Like, I wanted to get some a Cinnabon, but I gotta fight this nigga at the mall. Bet. Nigga, I just wanted to go get some new clothes. I gotta fight this nigga at the mall. Bet. Man, I just wanted to relax in the sun. I gotta fight this nigga at the beach. Bet. Like, it just made sense. Because you really had to go off the colors of the controller because they don't tell you the actual buttons. I feel like, yeah. I think that's when people just developed the notations like 1, 2, 3, 4 and shit like that. Which just made it easier because it's like a neutral understanding of what button to press instead of just like, oh, triangle, square, like specific. That's those are like, it only works for specific systems. But like, well, how the fighting game community is, they just say 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause you gotta remember too the arcade controls. Because arcade controls are just neutral. They don't have a specific name. You just that's why niggas just gave it numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of it's based off arcade controls, if anything. It's really just based off arcade controls.
The specific visuals.
And that was worse. I mean, nah. I mean, it's been established for decades now. I mean, it's fine to me. I'm guessing for casuals, maybe it's bad, but they would just have to learn the notations, if anything. I'm about to say they would just have to learn the notations, if anything, if they're just casuals. So that command list didn't help you? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, notations is whatever. I know. I mean, it's not hard to learn the notations now. I mean, square is 1, triangle 2, X is 3, circle is 4. That's all you need to know. And then you gotta know the abbreviations like while standing, while rising, while running. Shit like that. Like the star, you gotta learn that. Like you just have to learn that shit. Like, and for back then, I know people didn't have the internet, but it's just like you have to like really think about where people played this game, and it's mostly on the arcade. To be honest, Tekken was mostly played on the arcade. At least for the old ass games, it was mostly played on the arcade. So for people who are familiar with the arcade Tekken, they're gonna know what buttons to press off the command list alone. If you're not familiar with arcade, you're just gonna have to get familiar. That's just what it was. It was incomprehensible. Now everybody understands it. I mean, yeah. It was really, because back then it was really just if you know, you know. When it came to arcade, if you never played arcade before, you might have been cooked. I ain't gonna lie. Never played arcade, you might have been cooked. You might have been cooked if you ain't had no damn arcade. If you ain't never played on the arcade. The arcade didn't have a pause menu either, yeah. You had to figure it all out, yeah. Crazy what high level players had to go through back then, bro. It was rough. Bare bones.
Though now there's less of them, they're now entire entities that change the flow of the game in their own right.
Like, look at the background, bro. Like, look at the buildings in the back and shit. The helicopter, like, these stages were so captivating, bro. So much detail. Facts.
Tasteful aesthetic of various strong blues per stage. On building, the background is a giant golden clock against the cold concrete hues, and ornate, destructible Roman statues decorate each corner. The character's loose clothing flutters in the wind with the smallest audio cue, following under the understated and relaxed music. In Underground, a court of onlookers walls 2 fighters, cheering and jeering, becoming collateral damage as the 2 of you beat each other into the crowd, as the messy music matches the messy atmosphere.
I forgot about that stage, that's crazy.
These stages don't feel created for the convenience of combat. It's hard to simplify them down inconsiderately. There's visual obstructions of gameplay elements, such as onlookers who make room for the rhino beetle man shanking a bear with shoes on, or pillars and banisters that shadow when they meet sufficient damage. The topology of these levels, too, plays a large role in making these areas feel alive. Tekken's hitboxing is very fluid and dynamic, similar to the 2D genre, projecting what you could think of as spheres at key points around the character model. These are the hurt boxes. When you input an attack, a point-to-point line vector, or 2 of them, is created for a few frames in a convincing location which effectively acts as a hitbox. The collisions are calculated between these at a rate of once a frame, or 60 frames per second. And simply because there is a collision doesn't necessarily
breaking this
mean
shit
that
down
the
to a
opponent will be
science.
hurt. For example, a high move against an opponent who is crouching will have their attack whiff, no matter what.
Oh, fuck.
An airborne opponent will avoid any low attack, no matter what. There's also various esoteric rules not worth mentioning here. As such, with the terrain being so uneven, an offset of height can be enough in some situations to mean that the expected...
Oh yeah, that would get bad. Because there were definitely like elevated terrains in the stage. That's when that shit get bad.
Collisions don't happen, or become less reliable than they otherwise should be. Similarly, collisions will have the appearance that they should work, but don't. It's a commendable realism to the system at play here, and it was likely something they were striving for, sacrificing the mechanical reliability and balance of the game, even if that realism is itself kind of abstract. Furthermore, although movement and situational awareness is the most emphasized it ever has been, certain movement mechanics have been nerfed. In previous games, a dominant strategy occurred of backdash cancelling into another backdash in order to run away with a life lead and force your opponent to open themselves up with risky attacks.
A technicality from the kill people yet.
This was bug fixed, a cooldown put on the timing for consecutive backdashes outside of close range, limiting player movement outright and somewhat enforcing closer ranges. Positioning itself can be usurped as simply as using the aforementioned position switch grabs. Whilst these are still a very cool inclusion and can make for cool moments, it somewhat removes the interest in being careful about positioning when it can be thrown back in your face. Certain characters can also enter stance before a round starts, as everyone now has free movement before a fight. Lastly, the obstacles that can litter the stage will fade out depending on if the player is behind it. Player matchup knowledge now has to be paired with what stage they're on, so they don't get caught on a phone booth, raising the skill floor and skill ceiling pretty vastly. Unfortunately, the wall system also resulted in bugs such as infinite juggles, which were also present in the game's previous version of Tekken Force. And yet, what should be the most egregious case of all is that a lot of the music is soothing, relaxed, and laid back.
Oh my god.
It's bizarre. The fighting game should most often...
One of the greatest fighting game soundtracks I ever heard. Tekken 4 has banger after banger, nigga. Classics on classics. Insane.
Try to emphasize action and fast pacing.
Insane.
Yet the only point where some of these songs become heavy is when the song will break down on KO during a replay, popping the tension with explosive drums and emphasizing the frenetic panic only in post for you to review.
I'm telling you, man.
At which point, the song settles back down into a serene calm with added melodies while you try to break marble with your opponent's body yet again. This should be the most egregious case of the team going for style over substance. And yet the willingness to challenge convention produced something so beautiful and mood-setting, it's difficult to not commend it. Often when people bring up Tekken 4, they mention two things. One, why did Tekken 4 suck? I've supplied plenty of answers already, but funnily enough, it isn't obvious, and people often beg the question. 2, I like Tekken 4 anyway.
Facts.
Hilariously, neither of these...
I don't give a fuck about the hate. Hate it all you want. I still love that bitch. Still a classic. Don't care. Cause niggas be giving in to the hate and be succumbing to the hate like it's fucking curse mark or some shit. Like, nigga, I promise you, you can still like the game no matter how many people dislike it. Like, it don't matter, bro. Fuck all the hate. Fuck all the noise. This game was a classic. I do not care. Argue with your mama.
Is the clear statement that Tekken 4 did indeed
classic.
Suck, which
don't
fits
care.
in with my memories at the time.
I do not care. I truly don't.
The only complaint I saw in a pre-competitive and pre-professional world was that Tekken 4 had a disappointing range of characters compared to Tag 1, but was a true evolution of the Tekken concept. The game's place in history has been misrepresented by the professional players, through no fault of their own. Those who opened up homebred international competition with EVO 2000...
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. With people who shit on Tekken 4, they try to get other people to dislike it as well. That's the problem. I mean, it's common. If people massively hate on this one thing, they want as much more people to keep hating on it. They want to feel validated within their perspective of the game. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be isolated. They want to keep people from liking the game. That's the problem. So many people do that so fucking much. That's why I just emphasize, just like what you like, man. Don't, like, who the fuck cares if most niggas hate this game? I do not care. I know I don't. It doesn't erase my attachment to this game. I personally like every Tekken game except the new ones. Damn. I fuck with Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is a new direction. I fuck with it. My favorite Tekken will always be Tag 2 though. That game has so much charm, man. But I'm just saying, like, just like what you like, man. It don't matter, bro. Like, I don't care. Niggas can speak about the technicality of the game's flawed mechanics and stuff. Like, okay, I can still enjoy those flawed mechanics regardless. Like, I can enjoy other positive aspects of the game. Like, I promise you, it doesn't matter. I like what I like. You like what you like. Like, favorite one is 5 for the fact I can play Tekken 3 through it. I feel it.
3. Criticize the game based on reliability, consistency, and bugs, and very fairly. Today's fighting game players are far more educated on such matters and are capable of agreeing. Yet sales data shows the competitive darling Tekken Tag 1, which shared a stage with its two sequels, sold just as poorly as Tekken 4. This is in a world where the FGC and internet are intertwined. An internet where discussion favors cold hard data, and a scene which searches for self-improvement through the study of frames and ranges.
It was a special dish.
But the turn of the century was very different. Game balance wasn't such a codified concept. The idea of fairness was less likely to be proven, but agreed upon. And the international stage did not exist. Only arcades and challenges between friends and family in front of your PlayStation 2. In the context of that time and that place, Tekken 4 lived a full life as an esteemed sequel to those who played it, soaked in the atmosphere, the rich storytelling, the supreme music and art direction, and the dream of what fighting games could become.
Oh my god. The art. God damn, they cooked. The art is cooked. That Paul Jugger was evil? I know what you're talking about. Oh my god, nigga.
Through the study of frames and ranges. But the turn of the century was very different. Game balance wasn't such a codified concept. The idea of fairness was less likely to be proven, but agreed upon. And the international stage did not exist. Only arcades and challenges between friends and family in front of your PlayStation 2. In the context of that time and that place, Tekken 4 lived a full life as an esteemed sequel to those who played it, soaked in the atmosphere, the rich storytelling, the supreme music and art direction, and the dream of...
The art was beautiful, man.
What fighting games could become in the new millennium. Slowly, this has been forgotten, and the dream was never realized.
That's probably Jen's... I ain't gonna lie, that's probably Jen's cleanest fit. Like, this nigga had that shit on. That nigga had that shit on. You know, Argo horror effects.
Slowly overwritten by argumentative and quantitative certainty in a scene that has long forgotten why it loves fighting games in the first place. Rollback netcode will never re-elicit the feeling of sitting next to your brother or sister, asking, how did you do that? Tekken 4 achieves a quality that may not land it as a good fighting game by modern standards, whatever that may be, but almost certainly lands it as an incredible game, superseding its failures and negatives. It doesn't deserve the negative image that it's gotten. Returning game modes like Team Battle and Tekken Force are now complemented by Training Mode, which runs through some of your character's most useful moves and making a timing game of it. The new Tekken Force Mode 2 takes...
They did have the color buttons. Nigga, what the fuck? Okay, they did have the color buttons. Okay, yeah, they did have the color buttons. I thought it was like all the buttons were just white though. They were just white buttons, but they were colored. Okay, I see.
Through some of your character's most useful moves and making a timing game of it. The new Tekken Force Mode 2 takes place in fully mapped areas like the...
So on an arcade stick you was fucked? I mean, I don't think niggas really use the arcade stick on the PS2. That's what I'm saying. I think most people probably just played Tekken 4 on the arcade, or at least people who were competitive at the game just played on the arcade.
Main game with more enemies on screen.
Tekken 4 is, oh my god, chiggin. If you know, you know, bro. Niggas was racking up chickens in that mode. Chiggin.
Vastly improved pacing and load times, and adding in the ability to change which character you're locked onto at will. Furthermore, the character designs are hands down the best in the series, past or present. The setting has started leaning away from cartoonish fantasy and closer toward a grounded reality with more casual wear. Ling Xiaoyu's Cheongsam Spatsu getup is missing, in favor of a more innocent dress or a very tomboyish coat. Brian's put a shirt on sometimes, and Paul either lets his pits air out or lets his hair down. Heihachi can be so traditional it's upsetting.
That's his worst fit. That was not a good fit, I'm sorry. I know it's Fundoshi, but it's like, nah. He don't got that shit on.
Setting to the eyes. And Jin goes incognito, hiding his identity with his hoodie. Like...
Ah, fuck. Now rewind that.
To the eyes. And Jin...
Nigga, look at this shit, bro. Look at this promotional art. That shit is clean as a bitch. Saucy as fuck, nigga. Like, come on, bro. You can't tell me this game is not the sauciest fighting game ever, like.
Goes incognito, hiding his identity with his hoodie, likely out of both anger and self-hatred for his lineage, and in order to evade Heihachi's Tekken Force. Kazuya half dons a suit with some sunglasses to hide his demonic eye, likely for similar reasons. Regardless, it all just looks really, really cool.
Jin has some great writing in this game. I'm not gonna lie. Jin has some great writing. Obviously, arguably his best like story mode. Arguably his best story mode. I'm not gonna lie.
Almost everyone has an option for a flappy
But I would have to play the other Tekken games.
Movement or environment.
Tekken 5 probably got the best because they got a whole mode dedicated to them. So, but Tekken 4's Jin story mode, peak.
Mental cues.
Had the best character history. I probably would agree. Jin, he's my favorite character after all.
Jin's hoodie will fall off if he's floored several times, and Xiao Yu's armbands burn the camera, leaving ghosting trails as she dances around. You get the feeling that the team's imaginations ran amok with the promising new generation of hardware, rather than
because they literally tied the Mishima bloodline. Yeah, he's a very important character for sure.
Emphasizing polygon count like they had with Tekken Tag Tournament's PS2 port, they scaled back and added detail to the way you could interact with the game, and how the game could better convey concepts like motion and damage to you, not limited to detailed animations and facial expressions. And with these more grounded designs comes a genuine attempt at storytelling for many characters. Backstory once belonged in the game's manual, but
that's what I'm saying. The storytelling was so interesting in Tekken 4, bro.
Now it's integrated with incredible storyboard artwork as the announcer's calm voice narrates their wills. A newcomer Steve handles like a dream. He's a boxer, so rather than typically kicking, he'll sway and lean with the kick buttons in various configurations, with attacks that come out of these stances. The limitations the team had was creatively exploited to give the character versatility and upper body movement characteristics of his archetype. He gets in deep with the Mafia and goes all or nothing on the tournament. In winning, he hopes to escape debt and find out more about his origin, and his strange scar down his left arm. This is initially a fun mystery. It turns out that among the experiments performed on Nina Williams, this includes IVF, and I'm gonna go out of my way to guess that she was probably the carrier rather than the egg donor, because it makes absolutely no sense that this smooth, charismatic, and flexible boxer has any relation to that frigid whore. The situation dissolves without any...
Whoa. 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 I didn't know this was a Nina hate video. Whoa. Excuse me, sir. Sir. Excuse me. Respect Nina. Respect Nina. Nigga, dude, like, what? Huh? Fuck it you on, bro? Almost clicked off the video. You tripping. Respect Nina. Like, what the fuck? Unnecessary. 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 Like, she didn't have to catch a... Like, come on, man.
The thing really happening when Lei Wulong tries to arrest her, because he needed something to do in this game. Lee wins the tournament, but ends up having to fight his pet project, the game's cybernetic iteration of Mokujin, as a true final boss fight. In order to work out the bugs, he uses his new model to infinitely juggle Heihachi until it gets better. Excellent. The less said about Harang's ending, the better.
You're finally here!
So, what do you want?
There's a few endings that are just nice to see, though. Xiao Yu and Miharu talk about college entrance exams and love interests. Panda suggests that Xiao looks for Jin on her own, lest she gets put on an endangered animals list. These are the nicest endings, it just shows characters growing up, really. But on to the meat of the story. The joke character of Paul Phoenix believed that he had won the last tournament, having defeated Ogre, and left before Jin ultimately defeated Ancient Ogre. Angered that his achievement is unrecognized, and his reputation shot, and his dojo shut down, he views Iron Fist 4 as a way to redeem himself, the finality of which sees him succumb to a life of debauchery and falsehood. Yet, seeing everything he'd forgotten about, he realizes the anger he'd fulfilled led him to decadence, seeing his accomplishment deified rather than the recognition of his position. Throwing away his expensive sunglasses, he returns to a simplistic lifestyle, where he was happier. While writing this, they never forgot Paul's.
I'm not gonna lie, this might be Paul's best story mode. This might be his best story mode. I forgot how much they cook with Paul's writing. This might be his best story mode. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that shit gave me tears as a kid, bro. I remember it hit me. I ain't gonna lie, it moved me.
Joke. They simply gave him genuine character development, having him become fully self-aware through the course of the journey,
Facts,
evolving him past his own simple premise in a way that speaks to the themes of the game. Julia Chang, the eco-terrorist hell-bent on world forestation, finds that the price of her dream is human eradication, and she determines the cost of fulfilling her dream, this time, might sacrifice too much. The shtick of being a psychopathic cyborg gives way to Brian's imminent decay and death. His body's falling apart, his skin tone fading and pale. He finds somewhere to direct his fury. Brian, often thought to be one-dimensional, clearly fears death. He has motivation and interest, and visual representation of his downward moral growth. He channels his fear into anger, into the scientist who resurrected and abandoned him to a doomed life. Finding the man, Brian takes particular care to unleash his revenge and fury before succumbing to his degeneration. But rather than dying, Yoshimitsu salvages the jackass, and he entrusts Boskonovich to help mend Brian as best he can. This begins the true downward spiral for Brian's character, as a chaotic villain who only further gives in to his rash emotions. Marduk, having lost his career due to a small scandal, lets the rage loose and ends up killing his opponent in the arena. Imprisoned for murder, he's somehow allowed out well ahead of time, spending only a year in jail. The only thing his benefactor gives him are a plane ticket and a news article about Iron Fist 4. That benefactor is King 2, the orphan who lost his only parental figure when Marduk killed Armor King in the ring. The two enter the tournament, King out for revenge, letting his anger consume him. Canonically, Armor King was going to die soon anyway, but the murder seems to have given King 2 someone to vent his remorse on. In Craig Marduk's playthrough, he can reach his ending without ever knowing who set him up, and he goes about his life having learned nothing. King, on the other hand, works his way through the tournament, leaving Marduk hospitalized and open to an easy kill. The only thing that stops King is a picture of Marduk with his parents smiling. As an orphan, the mixture of emotion must be terrible. Perhaps he'll only perpetuate the circle of revenge. Do good parents even desire to feel the same anguish he probably feels? If he did this, wouldn't he just be the same as Marduk, letting his anger consume?
This nigga, I'm not rewinding that.
King 2 leaves the hospital, throwing the photograph to Marduk's chest.
We know how King be operating, bro. Like, that nigga King is filthy. King is filthy, like, we know.
Hold true to the spirit of this story. An interesting structural choice, as always, you unlock characters by beating story mode continuous with various other characters. The canonical ending must be viewed through multiple aspects before the full picture is unlocked, meaning the player's perspective of events develops more dimensions and feels grander than it otherwise might even be. Kazuya promised to take everything back as a direct challenge to Heihachi. When it comes time for Kazuya's sub-boss, Jin, he's nowhere to be found. He suspects it's Heihachi's doing, which is later confirmed in Jin's run-through. Having defeated Heihachi, he takes the opportunity to see his son crucified in chains, and uses it to awaken the devil within, feeding Jin's hatred to elicit a fight. Kazuya's hatred fulfilled, he uses the anger to expand his devil power by absorbing it from Jin. Having completed his devil self and subsuming it under complete control of his will, he not only takes everything back, he destroys the Mishima compound, and assumedly the Mishima legacy with it. Heihachi follows on from the same basic storyline, except he achieves having both Jin and Kazuya hostage. He walks out decreeing his victory with ominous text stating the world came to know an age of darkness. And with these two endings as an example, we rewind back to a different path, and to our true ending. Being coaxed by Kazuya in his sleep, Jin's existing anger is amplified by the devil gene. In doing this, Kazuya solidifies the core character flaws of the most well-written characters in the game.
Generational arcade ending, bro, for Jin, bro. Generational, man.
Exemplifying them with the previous game's hero being battered into the same villainous role. Jin becomes engulfed in fury and awakens in despair. He charges at his father and grandfather with intent. The emphasis the story has means that this stage only appears as a boss room for these three story elements, and in versus play. It enforces more classic clothing for all involved. The surface is flatter, and the walls are more squared, meaning the collision and juggle issues aren't going to pop up. And the stage is large enough that it takes some time to reach any wall, whilst being small enough to be an intimate fight. To one end is a large statue of the Buddha, torchlit. The music is peaceful but tense, with the heaviest sections having Ghost in the Shell style wailing.
Peak, man. Peak.
In the end, Jin holds Heihachi's life in his hands, a symbol of everything he's come to hate about himself. The act of killing his own family would make him just like them, but he's so close to being consumed by the devil in his hatred, with his body visually distorting to grow wings and markings as he contemplates the act, that the irony is entirely lost on him. Stopping just short of the final strike, an apparition of his mother, Jun Kazuma, stops him, before her image slowly fades into the image of the Buddha. The Buddha is a figure of self-control and something like a very socially aware Asian stoicism, to simplify broadly. And in this context, it reminds Jin that he's not just his father's son, there's someone else he can be, who he chooses to be. Tekken 4 exploits the tried and true structure of character endings in fighting games to have Heihachi and Kazuya stand as examples where achieving anger will get a person. Satisfying their desires leads to ultimate destruction and a world that's not worth living in, no matter how satisfied or how shit-eating their grin is. It's not to be forgotten that the devil gene is an analogy for selling one's soul. Their searches for power lead the world to catastrophic events. It's no wonder Jin would see his lineage with hatred, and yet that very same hatred is what makes him a part of that lineage. He spares his parents' lives, crediting his mother's example, and flies away turning his back on what he never wants to become. Through the list of Pulp Fiction style what if...
And there was a white feather that fell down at the end of his story. And when he flew up through the roof, a white feather fluttered right down after he left. And that kind of just foreshadowed that Jin would have an angel form. That was basically a foreshadowing of him being an angel, pretty much. Him becoming more like his mother. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much it kind of did all... Because he has an angel form in Tekken 8. But yeah. God, man. This shit is peak, bro. Tekken, I love Tekken, bro.
Of characters dealing with true uncontrollable rage, this somewhat complicated story of hatred and grief, anger and revenge, becomes a very simple message. You don't have to be the things that you hate. You don't have to give in to it. Anger is a reaction, something you deal with yourself. You can either allow it to take you over, or you can let it go. The methodology that Tekken 4 exemplifies over all else is that you can find what good there is and shine a light on it. You can use it to pave your way. You aren't just your anger, fury, hatred, or rage. Nobody is. That's why Brian, Kazuya, and Heihachi falter. That's why King spares Marduk. That's why Paul abandons his success. And that's why Jin flies away. Hatred is a part of you, not the rest of the world. The struggle is internal. The true subject of your hatred is yourself. The good you need to find will also have to be within yourself. Only then can you let go.
God. Cooked, bro. He cooked up,
When
bro.
you see a piece of art like this, you know that
Hold on,
whatever
bro.
product
Like,
it belongs.
this dude cooked, man. Like, Tekken 4 is a beautiful game, man. Like, it's not even just about the mechanics in the game. It's about the core themes that it was trying to communicate within its story mode, bro. Like, I don't think people understand the compelling themes that Tekken 4 was trying to communicate, bro. I don't think really people understood that, man. And it's like, wow. It's crazy for real. It's just crazy to think about. It's like, wow, man.